Important announcements. May I request you one and all to kindly put your cell phones on mute. And also, this evening we look forward to nothing short of a powerful and an unforgettable meeting with Robin Sharma. And may I invite Mr. Akash Shah, the publisher of Jaico Publishing House, to please come forward, share a few words, and present to you Robin Sharma on stage thereafter. Welcome, Mr. Akash Shah.
Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for being here. Crossword and Jaico Publishing House have a very exciting evening planned for you, and I'm sure that the next few hours will be enshrined in your memories for years to come. As Robin has said, this will be a powerful and unforgettable meeting. Before we start the event, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about a person who is no longer here with us, but who was instrumental in bringing Robin to India and to Jaico. His name was Rayasam Hiresh Sharma. He was affectionately called R.H. Sharma and was not in any way related to Robin. R.H. Sharma was Jaico's longest-serving and most reputed editor. In the mid-1990s, while walking the aisles of the Book Expo, a book fair in the US, he chanced to meet a self-published young author in the aisles. They had a good discussion, and the result was that the book Mega Living was first published in India in 1997 for an advance of less than $100. Mr. R.H. Sharma saw something special in the young author's writing that no one else had sensed, even in the US. This was the beginning of a 20-year relationship between Jaico and Robin Sharma, which grows stronger by the day. Today, Robin Sharma's books have sold over 5 million copies in India alone and over 15 million copies worldwide. His latest book, The 5 A.M. Club, which was released in India on 19 December last year, has sold over 1 lakh copies in under 2 months. It is the #1 book in India at the moment online and offline, and I'd like to thank all you readers out here for buying the book. This evening's event is the last one in Robin's 8-day tour of India. He's had a grueling schedule, and we do hope that through all the media interviews he's done, millions of people will learn about the life-changing concepts in the 5 A.M. Club. I do think that this book will make the world a better place. Over the next hour and a half, I'm sure you'll see why Robin and his books are an international publishing phenomenon. Please welcome Robin. Thank you.
Okay, how is everyone doing here? How am I? I'm great. Anytime I'm in India, I'm good. So what they've asked me to do is to speak for a few moments, and then I'm going to be interviewed by someone special, I hear, and then most importantly, the stars of the show are going to ask questions. That's all of you. So we're going to do a nice Q&A. How many people have read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari? Fantastic. One person has not. I'm very upset. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really happy that the publisher, that Akash mentioned Mr. Sharma, who saw something in my books, and he really he's no longer here with us, as Akash mentioned, but it's a testimony to the power of someone having a vision. So I want this to be relaxed. I want this really to be a chance for you to ask me questions after we do the formal interview. I want you to have fun. I want to tell you about my new book, The 5 a.m. Club. How many people have read The 5 a.m. Club? Most people already. Wow. You guys are fast readers. Look at the person next to you just very quickly and say, you look even better in person than you do on your Instagram profile. Go ahead and do that. Come on, go ahead, quickly. And now look at the person on the other side of you and say, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, should I go to Bollywood? Just okay. What am I gonna share with you? Well, why did it take me 4 years to write the 5 a.m. Club? Long story short, I've been working with billionaires and corporate CEOs and titans of industry for the past 2 decades. And I developed a morning routine for them that was creating some profound changes in their creativity, productivity, and their prosperity. And because I believe the way you begin your day sets up the way your day unfolds. Show of hands, how many people would agree with me? Right? How many people would agree with me we live in the age of dramatic distraction? Show of hands here. How many people have seen cyber zombies spending, right? I talked about it in the book a lot, the cyber zombies in the 5 a.m. Club. And so what we have to do is we have to remember the shortness of life. No matter how long we get to live, ultimately, life is a very, very short ride. And the street sweeper gets buried next to the CEO, and we all just end up as dust. And so, there's a line in the 5 a.m. Club, which is you can play with your phone all day, or you can live a heroic life, but you don't get to do both. And so that time, and I know in Indian culture, there's a word actually, I think it's a Sanskrit or maybe it's a Hindi word, but that time between, that's right, what's the word? Yeah, exactly, that word. So between 4 and 6 is a time of magic. It's the time of our minds are most pure, our hearts are most open. If we choose, we can have intimacy and fluency with our gifts and our talents and our true nature. Not our ego side, but the truest and strongest part of us. There's actually a lot of neuroscience in the 5 a.m. Club as well. And one of the latest things science is teaching us is when we sleep, the brain actually has a mechanism to wash itself. So we wake up in the morning and our brain has been washed. So why did it take me 4 years? I write very slowly, that's why. It just, really, every word takes me a week. No, I'm just joking. It took me 4 years because I wanted this to be a piece of magic in your hands. I wanted this book to help people break free of frustration and distraction. There's a lot of negativity in our world. There's a lot of apathy in our world. There's a lot of people who are confused. When we were little kids, how many parents are in the room here? Show of hands, I'd like to know. Wow. How many of you were once children yourselves? Just put up your... when we were little kids, before the world disappointed us, before we were hurt, before people taught us limitation, we were full of awe and we were full of wonder. When we were little kids, we wore our heart on our sleeve. When we were little kids, we did not hate. When we were little kids, we were intimate with our creativity. When we were little kids, we were authentic and we spoke our truth. And then what happened? Our loving, well-intentioned parents, teachers, the media, the world around us, started the process of brainwashing us and heart-washing us away from our primal genius and who we truly are. And now most people on the planet today are suffering from the dreaded disease of victimitis, excusitis. We're giving away our power. We're blaming. We're toxic. We're busy being busy, but what's the point of being busy climbing mountains only to realize on the last hour of your last day you climbed the wrong mountains? I think the world is very confused right now. There are a lot of people who their technology is their God, it's not their servant. There's a lot of people who think if they make a lot of money, that will give them inner peace and joy. Well, I've worked with many of the richest people in the world for many, many years, and I can tell you there's a lot of very, very rich people and money is all they have. And if you were to ask me what life is all about, life is about materializing your gifts and your talents, living your potential. Life is about radiating positivity and living by your values, not society's values. And life is about being an instrument of service, no matter what you do, for as many people as possible. When I was growing up, my father used to quote the Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore. And my dad used to say to me, my dad's from Jammu Kashmir. And my dad used to say to me, Robin, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. He said, son, live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice. And if that's going to matter most at the end of your life, why not break free of the majority and make it matter most now? So that's a little bit about the process. I've been teaching this 5 a.m. club method for 22 years. Why did it take 4 years? Because I wanted to handcraft the book. I wanted it to be transformational, not motivational. The book is a blend of neuroscience, and it's a story like the monk who sold his Ferrari. It will help you be much more creative, much more productive. It will help you beat stress. Can I tell you my favorite story on stress? A little while ago, I was in a grocery store, and I saw a mother pushing her baby. And the little baby was crying, screaming like you can't imagine. And I overheard the mother saying, don't scream, Jennifer. Don't yell, Jennifer. Be calm, Jennifer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't help myself. I walked over to this woman. I said, Madam, I can't tell you how impressed I am by the way you're speaking to your baby. She said, no, I'm Jennifer. Okay, what else are we going to talk about here? Well, the core of the 5 a.m. Club is based on the 20-20-20 formula. And does someone have a watch or something? This clock isn't working here, so just let me know. Because I want to get into the interview. The 20-20-20 formula, what is that? The 20-20-20 formula is basically what do you do at 5 o'clock? You wake up at 5 a.m., you put mind over mattress, you win the battle of the bed, and here's what the science says. University College London says it takes 66 days of practicing a skill to wire it into the point of automaticity. So please, when I get to meet you, I hope I get to meet all of you, but please don't say, I can't join the 5 a.m. club. Grandma didn't get up early. My father didn't get up early. I don't have early rising genes. The gift of a human being is not genius. The gift of a human being is neuroplasticity. We all have brains that can grow through practice. So you all can join the 5 a.m. club, but most people, what they do is they will come to an interview like this, or they will read a book like the 5 a.m. club, and they will have these lofty commitments, and then after a week, they will give up on their intentions. Well, that's like saying I want to be a world-class chef. I practiced for 10 days. I couldn't make fantastic, butter chicken or tandoori chicken. I guess I can't be a world-class chef. That's like saying, I want to learn Italian. I practiced the language for 15 days. I wasn't fluent in it. I gave up. So what makes a great athlete, what makes a great leader, what makes a great human being is you understand that world class is not an event. World class is a process. And no idea works for women and men who don't do the work. We live in a world of entitlement. We live in a world of people who want Ferraris and they want glory and they want fame and fortune and beautiful houses, but they want to swallow a magic pill to get there. And I think part of it is, we live in a world of such instant gratification. Well, a great marriage or a great family or a great career or a legendary life is not easy. Otherwise, everyone would have it. And I think we have to be honest with each other here tonight. There are no extra people on the planet. Every single one of you has been born into gifts and talents. But if you want to materialize those, you've got to work hard and get the job done. And I think the best way to do that is to install the habit of rising at 5 a.m. It's the time of greatest peace, greatest quietude, greatest creativity. And then what do? You run this 20-20-20 formula. In the book, I walk you through exactly what to do. It's the morning routine of history makers. Would it be helpful if I gave you a quick overview of the 20-20-20 formula? Yeah? First 20 minutes from 5 to 5:20 is move. Move. You want to sweat. You want to run. You want to skip. Why do I say sweat? There's an amazing neurochemical called BDNF. Look at the person next to you. Just make sure they're not asleep. Do that for me here. Okay, and then whisper in their ear, go, BDNF. Just do that for a second. What's BDNF? BDNF is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And here's what BDNF does. You all have it. It's not just me or everyone has this. When you sweat first thing in the morning, is this interesting or am I boring you with this science? Yeah. Yeah? Well, one person finds it very interesting. Thank you very much. I appreciate it's. To hear it from my mouth is like something else. I'd like to introduce you to our marketing, our marketing vice president. So anyway, BDNF is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It is released in your brain when you sweat first thing in the morning. Here's what it does. It actually accelerates your processing ability of your cognition. Is that valuable in your day to process and learn more quickly? Secondly, I'm so excited about this. BDNF actually promotes more neural connections in your brain, more density, so you can actually see more quickly and process more quickly. 3, BDNF promotes neurogenesis. Remember that old idea that you don't have any more brain cells? Like you can't have more brain cells? Science actually says when you exercise first thing in the morning and release BDNF, you promote neurogenesis, which is the creation of new brain cells. On top of that, BDNF repairs brain cells damaged by stress. Cortisol, this is all in the 5 a.m. club. Cortisol, the fear hormone, is highest first thing in the morning. By exercising from 5 to 5:20, you really reduce cortisol. How valuable is that to you to be less scared in your business life and in your personal life? Dopamine, the inspirational neurotransmitter, is released through exercise. So by 5:20, you've created a pharmacy of mastery. You're full of inspiration. You've optimized your cognition. You've increased your metabolic rate, so you burn fat even more quickly, and it's only 5:20. Here's a key point. The way you feel at 5:20, if you do that first pocket of the 20-20-20 formula, is fundamentally different from the way that you feel when you first wake up. I wake up in the morning, I don't always feel happy and strong, and people think I wake up in the morning in a loincloth and, there's butterflies and rainbows and puppies around me. I wake up and it's like, I don't want to get out of bed on a cold Canadian morning. But when I go downstairs and I hit the treadmill or I get on my machines or I skip, I activate the human capacities and capabilities that we all have. Now it's 5:20, the second pocket of the 20-20-20 formula of the victory hour from 5 to 6 a.m. that will be automatic for you if you stay with it for how many days? 66 days is reflect. Our Indian culture is all about reflection, but we've lost that. So for 20 minutes, I'm going to encourage you from 5:20 to 5:40 to pray. And if you're not religious, then do scientific prayer. Or you can meditate. Meditation has been shown to reduce inflammation, which is the cause of disease. Meditation will give you a much more peaceful mind. The best athletes, the best business people, the best human beings are in a peaceful state. I love journaling for 20 minutes during that reflection pocket. If I'm going through a difficult time in my life, I pour my pain or my sadness on a crisp white page. Journaling is powerful. You can write gratitude. You can write about the previous day. But 20 minutes of profound reflection. And then the final pocket of the 20-20-20 formula is grow. The billionaires I work with and the superstars that I mentor all have one thing in common. They're incredibly curious. You see, victims love big TVs. Leaders have big libraries. Ladies and gentlemen, education is inoculation against disruption. There's a section in the book called the 2x, 3x mindset. To double your income and impact, triple your investment in two areas, your personal mastery and your professional capability. The world has a very fair accounting system. The more value you bring to the world, the more the world gives you great rewards. I spent 4 years on the 5 a.m. Club. I put my heart and soul in it. I put some of my best models in it, my best insights. I've released it, as Akash from Jayco said, it was released on the 19th of December. It sold 100,000 copies in 8 weeks. The book is #1 in India right now. Why am I sharing that? When you put love into your work, when you put love, this is so tactical. When you work with love, when you serve with love, when you live with love, when you are generous versus scarce, when you're not a taker, you're a giver to the world, whether it's in your work, with your family, with strangers on the street throughout India, the world has an incredible accounting system. And if you don't believe it, that doesn't mean it's true. It just means you don't believe it. What's our culture? It's karma. It's karma. And so you give yourself some time for 20 minutes from 5:40 to 6 o'clock where you learn. So you become a better human being. So you can bring more value. So you're more skilled. So you're a virtuoso of your craft. So you're a hero on the planet in a world that needs more heroes. Why wait for another Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa? When you can, as Gandhi said, you can be the change the world is, be the change you wish to see. Every time you say we need better leaders, we need more Mandelas, every time you say it's because of my husband or because of my wife, every time you say it's because the market is shrinking in my business, every time you blame your teammates or your customers, you're giving away your power to craft the change that will elevate your life. The world has too many victims, and every time you recite an excuse, you actually begin to believe it's true. There's a story I love. One Sunday night, there was a father, and the father had a little boy, and the little boy wanted to play with the father, but the father was too busy playing with his phone to play with his son. And then the father started reading a newspaper, and then the little boy said, "Dad, let's play, let's have fun." And the father kept on reading the newspaper. He was too busy. And then the father got an idea. He noticed a picture of the globe in that newspaper. And so he tore out the globe and ripped it up into many tiny pieces, and he handed it to the little son, and he said, "Here, son, go put this back together," thinking it would take his son quite a while. But children come to us more highly evolved than adults to teach us the lessons we need to learn. And after only a minute, the little boy came back and the globe was perfectly back together. And the father couldn't believe it. He said, "Son, how did you do that?" And the little boy looked up at his dad and he said, "Daddy, on the other side of the globe, I saw a picture of a person. And Daddy, once I got the person together, the world was okay." And you're going to say, "Oh, Robin, that's so sweet. Can we now hold hands and sing Kumbaya?" But in the 5 a.m. club, there's a model that I think, how many people in this room want to have a creative empire or a productive empire or an economic empire, or maybe it's a philanthropic empire? Show of hands. Anyone want to know how to do it? Begin with you. Your income always reflects your self-identity. You will never rise any higher in your business life than the quality of your personal narrative. So everyone's talking about mindset in personal development and leadership these days. We hear it all the time. How many people see on Instagram, mindset is everything? Show of hands. How many, right? It's everywhere. Everything's mindset. I disagree with great love and respect. Mindset is only 25% of the personal mastery equation. And that's why the 5M Club is a very disruptive book. Because mindset is your psychology. Is it important? No question. You want strong beliefs, core beliefs, a healthy psychology, because your performance reflects your beliefs. Would you agree with me? But you can have a great psychology, a great mindset, but if this new word I'm introducing in the new book, but if your heart set is toxic, you won't be creative, you won't be productive, you won't elevate your team, you won't change the world. The whole world talks about mindset, our intellectual life, the mind. But if your heart is full of unprocessed sadness, if you haven't worked through the anger of your past hurts, if you're full of toxicity, you're never going to be intimate with your creativity and your gifts and your talents. But it's not only mindset and heart set, it's another word I'm introducing in the new book, which is your health set. Your health set. Here's a quick tip, just bonus tip because you're such an awesome audience. You want to change the world? Don't die. Health set. Energy is more valuable than intelligence. You need energy, vitality. You want to play the long game. Someone once said, be strong not only to look good, be strong to be of use. And it's not only mindset, heart set, and health set, it's soul set. Now you could say, I'm a business person, or I'm a teacher, I'm a police officer, whatever you do. Soul set, Robin, that fourth interior empire, it's not relevant to me. I suggest it is. Soul set is about doing the deep inner work every morning while the rest of the world is asleep from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, running the 20-20-20 formula, working on your soul set so you turn down the voice of your ego. A bad day for the ego is a great day for the soul. So if your ego is just the voice of your scared self. We all have two selves. Our ego, which is born of fear, and then our true self that has been covered up by the hurts we've experienced since we left the innocence of childhood. You have luminosity inside of you. You have light inside of you. You have gifts and talents inside of you. Your natural state is vitality. You have brilliance inside of you. Every human being. But what happens is the world starts the process. There's a line in the 5 a.m. club. Limitation is a mentality that too many good people practice daily until they believe it's their reality. You might think what I just said are just words and not truth. Maybe that's just your belief system. And so what I encourage you to do is get up at 5 a.m. and do this work, and I explain what to do throughout the whole book, and do that inner work so you heal your wounds and you turn down the voice of your ego and you start to reconnect with who you truly are before the world taught you to contract, shut down, and play safe. Mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. It's not just mindset. What else? I think we should get into our interview with this wonderful superstar I've been hearing about.
Robin, you have certainly given us the entire feel of the texture and the grind of waking up at 5 a.m. and joining the 5 a.m. club. How many of you are going to wake up tomorrow morning and be part of the 5 a.m. club? Put your hands up. There, Robin, we've got the house full. It's time to get more interactive this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, and all your readers and guests, it's my pleasure to present to you, to make this evening more interactive and to get into conversation, none other than the phenomena on the big screen, Tiska Chopra. Welcome, Tiska. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Tiska, an Indian film actor, writer, and producer, may I share with you, she bagged the Best Actor in the female category for her film Chutney, very well known at the Geo Filmfare Short Film Awards in 2017. She not just acted in it, she also produced and co-wrote the film. Congratulations for all those achievements and many more. It also bagged the best film in the fiction category, and we look forward to more from Tiska Chopra in the future on the big screen. But we are very fortunate this evening to have you, Tiska, here with us. Thank you for being here with us and take us through forward in conversation with Robin.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Hi. Wow, that's a packed house if I ever saw one. Thank you so much for having me here, Jaco, Crossword, and Robin. I'm a fan. I have read, of course, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. The problem is that I wanted to buy that Ferrari. I really did. I've got a bunch of questions that I have to ask you, but first off, I have one big question, which I think emanates from the kind of reality that we live in, and I believe it's been the human condition forever, is that we want to be monks, but we want to have Ferraris. So, you know, we talk about how do you balance, what is the balance? You did briefly touch upon it, but you know, if you could expand on that idea, that we want to have a rich spiritual life. We want to have the soul set, the heart set, but we also want to have the Ferrari. Yeah, so we want to have that as well. And I do understand that you said when you add value to the world, you know, you get rewarded. It's a fair world. The accounting of the world is very accurate, is what you said just now. So I just want to help you expand on that idea for the people, because I think
Sure.
that's a big question.
Sure, I think it's a great question, and lovely to meet you, and thank you for. I'm glad you've enjoyed my books. So, success is very important. I think as human beings, we're most alive when we're materializing our talents and making progress in the world, and we're all sensual, sensory beings. I mean, you know, you obviously love Ferraris, and a lot of us love great food and great hotels and nice clothes. And I've never said that those things aren't valuable. They make life pleasurable, but I think there's a big difference between pleasure and happiness. So I think it's important to be in the world, but not of the world. So it's sort of like a game. You know, live in the world, have all the nice things. And yet at the same time, there's a line in the 5 a.m. Club, which is success without soulfulness is an empty victory. And I'm absolutely sure we can achieve this, because I'm no guru or anything like that, but I feel I'm living a very soulful, peaceful, creative life while I'm in the world, you know, building. And I think the real key is, again, the 5 a.m. Club, giving yourself 1 hour while the rest of the world is asleep to think about your values, to think about what you want to stand for, to optimize your health, to calibrate your heart set, your soul set. That is your anchor, so that when you go out in the world, you're not busy being busy. Because what's the point of climbing mountains only to realize at the end of your life you've spent your best hours climbing the wrong ones? Like a great leader and I think a happy human being, we're living life on our own terms versus following society's seductions about how we should live.
That is extremely valuable. I've got a bunch of questions that have been given to me by the people at Crossword and at JECO, which they'd like me to ask, but I have questions of my own, so I'm not going to follow the script.
I like that. I'd rather you ask me what your heart wants to ask, or what you think will be most interesting for everyone.
So the other thing, since we all live in Mumbai, and I assume most of us, unless people have traveled from elsewhere, is that to get up at 5 a.m., you need to sleep at 10 p.m. Because otherwise you're not going to figure that one out, because you're going to be underslept, and you're going to be like at 5:20 when you've done your workout, you're going to be like, okay, that's done. Forget the other 40 minutes. You do the 20, and then the next 20, you say, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. So you do 20 one day, you do 20 the next day, and you do 20 the day after that. So you're not going to be able to fit that.
That's an interesting way to run the 20-20-20 formula. That's my next book. You know.
So, would you also, because it seems that the 20-20-20 idea, the idea of the 5 a.m. club, is because I've been trying to get up in the morning early. I intuitively felt that one should get up early in the morning. I always feel that you'll sort of get ahead of, before the world catches up, you know, before you put your phone on and before, you know, other things start coming in, and you know, life starts jutting into your personal space. I completely get that. I however feel that if you could shed some light, this seems to be almost like if you've got the morning right, you'll get the day right. But there's a night before the morning. So how do you get that part right? How do you fix the night so the morning gets fixed? If you can sleep at 10 or 9, then you'll get up at 5, no problem. But you can't sleep before like 12:30. Our entire life is engineered towards sort of...
Okay, don't clap for that.
Do!
Don't clap. You guys want to clap for that.
Do clap. Come on, it's a question. It's a question. I'm not refuting anything. I'm only asking a question. I want an answer.
So here's what I'd say. There's a lot of interesting things that you said in that question. First of all, you're right. If you get your morning right, I mean, the subtitle of the book is Own Your Morning, Elevate Your Life. And there's a model in the book called the 4 Habits of History Makers, and one of them is day stacking. And the whole idea behind day stacking is as you handcraft your morning by following the routine, you will consistently have better days. How could you not? You've optimized your brain, you've purified your heart set, you've calibrated your health set, and you've worked on your soul set. You always have better days. I mean, how many people just watch this, how many people in this room have been applying the 5 a.m. club method that I've been teaching for so many years? And on the days, just watch this so everyone can see. On the days that you get up at 5 and run your morning routine, you have consistently great days. And on the days you don't do it, the days are not very good. Show of hands. Look around the room. Okay, so it works. So the idea is get your morning right, you'll have consistently better days. Because your days are your life in miniature. Consistently better days lead to consistently better weeks, months, and years. So a glorious life is nothing more than a series of well-crafted mornings strung together like a necklace of pearls. Second point, there's a whole chapter in the book confirming what you said, which is the chapter is called The Essentialness of Sleep. Some people say to me, Rob, 5 a.m. club, but there's evidence coming out now, and it's true, the number one way to cut short your life is you don't sleep enough. The 5 a.m. club is not about sleep deprivation, so I agree with you, you need sleep. So the question then becomes, how do you get to bed earlier, or what do you do? And to have a great morning routine, you've got to have what you're suggesting, which is a wonderful pre-sleep ritual. So if I may just offer you some tactics. Number 1 hour before you go to sleep, it's sacred time. No checking WhatsApp. You're like, oh, everyone's getting all hot in the room now all of a sudden, No, look, you can play with your phone, or you can lead a world-class life that you're proud of at the end. You don't get to do both. So 1 hour before you go to sleep, no technology. Otherwise, the white screen is messing up your melatonin and you're not going to sleep properly. It's neuroscience. Secondly, take a hot bath if you can, Epsom salt. Do a meditation, maybe that's part of your routine. You can pull out a journal and ask yourself an amazing question: what 3 good things happened to me today? Our brain has a natural negativity bias. That's why you can have so many great things happening and our brains focus on the one thing that isn't good, right? It's because it's called a negativity bias. It served us well thousands of years ago when we had to hunt for threats. Otherwise, we'd be eaten by tigers or killed by warring tribes. Well, our brain still has that mechanism, so we look for threats in our environment. We have to rewire the brain, and a great way to do that is before you go to sleep, ask yourself that question: what 3 good things happened to me today? Sleep in a cool room, a dark room, and no devices in the room. And if you do that, you're going to sleep consistently much better, and that will allow you to get up at 5 a.m.
See, that was a good question.
Yeah, it was a great question.
We got some interesting things out of Robin. Yeah? That's fascinating, because we in the metros particularly struggle with going against the natural rhythm of life, of sunset and sunrise and all of that. The sun is obscured by buildings, so you don't really see it that often. You just feel it when it's hot, when your air conditioning packs up. That's when you realize that there is a sun out there. The other thing I wanted to ask, I've written a book myself, and I developed a sort of neck spondylitis sort of issue from sitting on the keyboard like that and typing away. It's a tough thing. You've written a number of books, all of them bestsellers. What is your writing process? That is exciting to me.
Well, I'm excited to share the writing process for the 5 a.m. Club because it took 4 years. The book was written in multiple locations because I find to get your best creativity, you've got to get out of your home. And there's emerging science coming out now saying when we travel, it promotes creativity. I mean, how many people in this room, you're most alive, you're most free when you're in another city, right? So get out of your house more often and get onto airplanes or at least get in an auto rickshaw and get out there and see the world. So I wrote the 5 a.m. Club in Mauritius. I wrote it in Rome, which is one of my, I'm on a plane to Rome in a few hours. Rome is beautiful. I wrote it in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Monk didn't sell his Ferrari. That was an illusion. He's headed to Rome.
Yeah, exactly. It's in Tuscany. I wrote it in multiple locations because I was away from my usual routine, away from my business life, and I could drop into, we don't need to get into any more neuroscience, but the state is called transient hypofrontality. And I think it's of service to everyone here in this room to know that genius is not about genetics, genius is about your habits. And when you get away from distraction, your brain actually goes into flow state, which allows you to access your genius. So that was part of the process, working for periods of time in different locations. And then I'll be very tactical. I would get up in the morning and I'd exercise to optimize my brain. And then I would have 2 cups of coffee because coffee is an antioxidant and it's an amazing cognitive enhancer. Coffee is a health drink. And I drink
And that segment was brought to you by Starbucks.
And so I drink my 2 cups of coffee. And you asked, so I'll tell you, I didn't eat. And I often would fast until 4 o'clock. I saved a lot of money on food. But fasting is, it's our culture. Fasting allowed me to get to this mental state of incredible clarity and energy. And then it might be 3 or 4 o'clock, and I had been in such a lofty realm that I would then, call the hotel to clean the room, and then I would just go out and go for a walk to ground again. And I did that intensely for 2 years. In terms of the manuscript, I probably rewrote it 50 times, and God bless my assistant, Angela, who I have an amazing assistant, and I'm here with Sherry and me, 2 members of my team who've been with me on this incredibly grueling tour, and we rewrote the book 50 times, and I just wouldn't let it go because I wanted it to be magic. And I really do believe if you put your heart and soul and you release magic in the world, people feel the magic when they consume the product. You got to just trust that. A lot of people in business, I find in business now, everyone's marketing and strategy, but you know what they don't do? They don't get the product right. That's why Steve Jobs was so brilliant. He created a product that was so beautiful, but they said Steve Jobs wanted the icons on the iPhone to be so beautiful that users would lick the screen. That's a good thing to think about.
I just got the book recently, but there's a couple of lines that I loved, so I'm just going to read them out. They're brilliant. You need to remember that your excuses are seducers, that your fears are liars, and your doubts are thieves. Excuses are seducers, your fears are liars, and your doubts are thieves. So, again, not following the script. As an actor and a lot of creative people, there's often talk about self-doubt. And I'm sure all of us, whether we're getting into a relationship or getting into a new business or starting anything new or scaling up in any way, leads to enormous self-questioning, self-doubt. what way is there to fight that demon? What are some of the things one can do? Because some of them might be genuine things. It wouldn't have power over you if there was no truth in that. For example, if my self-doubt said that, you've read the script once and you should have read it like 15 times before you go on set. So that's a good doubt. I should have read it 15, 20, 150 times if I could. Where is it that you draw the line as to what is actionable, which is the part of the doubt that is productive to you, and what is the part that is, we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, is the sort of question, a two-part question. So the first part is that how do you deal with the negative part of self-doubt, and how do you decide what's negative and what's productive?
Well, there's a lot in that very intelligent question. The root of the word passion is to suffer. So you're an artist and I'm an artist, and everyone in this room, even if you're a hedge fund manager or a lawyer, God bless you, you're all artists. You're all artists. And so we have to suffer for our craft. And you're right. I still have self-doubt pretty much every day, just so everyone knows I'm no guru. Like, the more ambitious you are, and the more you want to serve, and the more you want to escalate your craft, the more you leave the majority who celebrates mediocrity, the more you're going to be lonely and considered a misfit and an eccentric. But it's the misfits and eccentrics and weirdos that have changed the world. So I would say suffering is the price of ambition. The second thing is, how do we overcome it? I don't know if this is going to make sense to everyone, but I talk about it a fair amount in the 5 a.m. club on the heart set part. You see, I think we suffer and we have self-doubt because our fear is louder than our faith, and our ego is screaming so loudly we can't hear our truth. And so I'll be very practical. In the morning, you want to start the process of looking at your wounding and starting to feel the suppressed pain. You didn't get invited to a birthday party when you were 4 years old, there's a pain. You got heartbroken when you were 16 years old, there's more pain. You lost a business because it didn't work well, there's more pain. Does everyone know what I mean? And what does society say to us? Society says, move on, focus on your mindset, don't cry, don't feel the pain. And so we build up this well of hurt within us, which is our ego. And so in the morning, if we write in a journal or pray or meditate, those are some tactics, and we start to get to know ourselves, not only our light side, but also the pain we felt. Well, to heal a wound, we need to feel a wound. And as we start the process of noticing where we have suppressed pain, you start to release that insecure part of us, and there's less self-doubt, and there's more connection with our light.
Wow, that's valuable. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and she has recently started asking questions about death, about why are we here, about the grand design. And I don't believe in God, in the existence of one single entity called God. I believe in a universal functioning. So I struggled, but ultimately out of the laziness of my brain and lack of wanting to craft something for her, I just said, she went to God, or he went to God. Seems a simple enough thing to say to a child, but I don't really know how to answer these questions to a child, or actually even to myself. So do you believe in an afterlife? Do you believe in a before life? And
Well, that's what the last chapter of the book explains. No, I'm joking. No, so I'll answer your question. Look, I'm no guru. I'll just tell you my belief. I do believe in reincarnation. I believe in karma. I believe the fact that we're in this room, we've probably lived many lifetimes. I believe that we are incarnated in a lifetime to get lessons that we didn't get in previous lifetimes, and when we get the lessons, we move on. And yeah, I just believe that we lose our bodies at the end of our lives, but the soul continues to get the lessons. And I believe ultimately life is very short, so it really isn't about the Ferraris, although they're absolutely fine. I agree with you. But once we develop intimacy with our mortality, then we develop a maturity. Gandhi died with under 10 possessions. Mother Teresa, I was in Kolkata and I went to her mission. Mother Teresa's bedroom had a bed in it and a desk. 2 years ago, I stood in Nelson Mandela's prison cell, and I encourage every one of you to make that trip to Robben Island. Make that trip to Robben Island as quickly as possible. When I stood in Nelson Mandela's prison cell where he was incarcerated and tortured for 18 years, and there wasn't even a bed in there. So the great women and men of the world, these people all understand that life is ultimately very short. And through their meditations, as well as through their suffering and their tragedy, the ego got cracked open so they became intimate with the truth. And they realized the truth is all about life is short, manifest your potential, and serve the world. So.
we have our own different sort of Robben Island. We go to another Robben Island. I do anyway. I read Mancuso Holder's Ferrari quite often when I'm feeling a little here and there. It's highly encouraging. You've written so marvelously and touched upon things in such nuanced and delicate ways that you get into the in between broad thought waves, and you get into the little tiny fibers of thoughts that helps to particularize things rather than just have broad strokes, which I think is marvelous for me anyway, and I'm sure for everyone. So you've become one of the most widely read authors alive in the world. How would you like to be remembered?
It doesn't matter to me how I'm remembered anymore. I wrote a book, Who Will Cry When You Die? I don't know if you've read it, and thank you, thanks, thank you. And that book talked a lot about legacy. And now this is simply my insight on the idea of legacy, but it's almost like an ego sport, how we're going to be remembered. Like, why does it matter how we're remembered? I'd rather focus on what I do when I'm alive. And so, look, I'm hopefully wise enough to understand when I die, my family will be sad, but life goes on and most people won't even remember me. I think, I really believe it's important that every single one of us do some really deep thinking about how we want to live the rest of our lives. And I can tell you're a deep woman and a deep thinker, and this room is a very sophisticated room. And I'll just say, I think the world is in a place of a lot of hate right now and a lot of negativity. And most people have actually given away their power, and they don't think they can do amazing things. And I think we all have a responsibility on our lives right now to do the work required to remember who we truly are. And then go out in the world and radiate positivity. And not just for a week, but we got to do it when it's hard and when it's easy. And I think it's important that we live by great values. You know, here in India, it's the foundation of great values. And that's not weak, that's brave. I think we need to be kinder as well. And I think we need to be more loving. We're all brothers and sisters on a small planet. And I don't think we should be so busy that we forget to be kind to people and loving to people. And even if people don't acknowledge that, I think we should do it because it makes us bigger human beings.
So I have very many questions, and I'm sure that life will bring us face to face yet again at another destination, hopefully like Rome maybe, or some other nice place, and we'll take a nice ride in a Ferrari together.
That's true.
That'd be fun. And have a deep and philosophical talk about various things, because I've got so many questions, and I'm sure everyone here does as well, particular detailed questions about their life. But before that, I'm going to quickly ask you to sign my copy of the book. I got to put it on Instagram. I know we're not supposed to be cyber junkies, but hell, Instagram can be excused. Sorry? Perks of being the presenter. There's another perk that I'm going to take right here.
Thank you very
That
much,
was wonderful.
Priska,
Thank you very much.
for leading us through in conversation with Robin. Only make sure when you put it on Instagram, it goes an hour before you go to sleep tonight. Well, thank you very much for staying on tune with us. And we're not going to wait till it gets late night, but of course, this is an opportunity for all of you, as much as we can accommodate, to get in a few questions on board. Requesting the ushers to be with the mic in the aisles to please take your places. There, we've got the hands. So I'll give the privilege to Robin to just take a chance. Till the mic comes, if you could kindly raise the question. Which one, Robin? In the front?
Yeah, this one right here.
Maybe have the mics in the front, please. Thank you very much. Let's have your name and the question, please.
Hello, Robin. I have been so excited that you're here. The moment I saw this, I was so excited. I couldn't wait each day for you to be here. My question is, actually a quick funny story. I have always been a sleeper. And you can ask anybody who knows me, I love to sleep, and I could be sleeping anytime. So to wake up at 5 in the morning, or to wake up early, has been the most challenging thing for me to do. So I got inspired by a club. I started waking up at 5. And I felt like that's the biggest accomplishment that I got. And with the first half, I woke up, and I fell, and I broke my bone behind the ear, which is a funny thing. But all right, my question is that after that, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know that I'm supposed to do all these things, plan my work, get things done. But I'm not doing it, and it makes me frustrated that I know what I'm supposed to do, and yet I'm not doing it. So how can you help me with that?
What a great question. That's so. One of the ways to sustain change is to join a club. And so what I would encourage you to do is to make your own 5 a.m. Are you from Mumbai?
Yes.
And what's your name?
Sarab.
Sarab. Why don't you start the chapter of the 5 a.m. Club Mumbai?
Wow, I love that. Who is joining me?
Who wants to join Saurabh in the 5 a.m. club? Maybe you just have a phone call at 5 minutes to 5, and you do a Facebook group or WhatsApp group, but talk to Saurabh and get 10 people. You'll probably have 500, 1,000 people, but get some support and work on it together, and then commit to 66 days and do it like a log of 66 days, and every single day check it off, and over time you will start to build these new neural pathways and emotional signatures, so it'll be much easier to run the 20-20-20 formula.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Let's go for the next
Yes.
one.
First of all, I'm immensely grateful to Jaiko and Crossword for having you here and with such a lovely audience. Being a youth myself, we face a lot of questions like figure out something very early. If you want success, you need to know your passion and you have to go through the typical, like being in India, you have 3 options, engineer, CA, doctors, no offense. But everybody has something they want to do on their own. So my question is, how do you figure this thing out? How do you know that you are meant for this? You hear a lot of things about passion and mindset and stuffs, but when you are in your young age, of a message for youth, how do you figure things out?
It's a great question, and I agree. I would second that. Thank you to Jaiko, and thank you to Crossword for bringing us all together. And you're right, this is a beautiful audience, like a great. I'm so grateful that you all came out here. So thank you. I would say 2 things. I would say number 1, you don't find your destiny finds you.
Wow.
That's really, right? So just be in the moment, do great work, be a good human being, work on yourself, and then good things are going to happen and your destiny will find you. Second thing is a line from the 5 a.m. Club. Instinct is more valuable than intellect. Your intellect is what you've learned from the world.
Yeah.
Your instinct is your deeper wisdom telling you where to go. When I wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, I was a litigation lawyer. It made no sense to give up my career. None. To self-publish a book. My mom was my editor. My father helped me sell it at Rotary clubs. I think we have 800 people here tonight. My first seminar, 23 people attended. 21 of those people were my family members. It made no sense intellectually. George Bernard Shaw said, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself or herself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man, or obviously woman.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
A small request. I want to come and do a handshake with you. Is it possible?
Yeah, for sure. No problem. There we go. And I'll sign the books when we do the book signing, for sure. No problem. You're welcome. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Hi, Robin. I'm Srividya, a big
Srividya.
fan of yours.
Thank you.
I'm a homemaker, basically. But almost all of your books are more oriented to the professionals. So what is a message, or what can I have read the 5 a.m. Club. I actually wake up at 5, but I don't do the 5 a.m. routine of 2020 because of my household course. I will not be able to sit and do a meditation because I have to pack my kids at 7 o'clock in the morning. So how will you suggest a homemaker or a common man? How do I implement the 5 a.m. viewpoint of executing my whole day as well as progressing in my life? Well, all of your books are mostly for professionals, but I have read 3 books of yours.
Right.
And this is dream come true meeting you.
Well,
today.
it's a pleasure meeting you as well.
And I'm a big Instagram follower.
Okay.
I wrote just 2 days back, I am Shri in Instagram, and I wrote to you, I will recognize you, but will you recognize me? So I got the first seat, luckily.
So what I would say is you should consider a career as a public speaker. No?
Thank you. That's
no.
another dream of mine, so probably I'll work on that.
What I would say is this. I would say, first of all, a number of my books are for non-business people. For example, Who Will Cry When You Die? Definitely the 5 a.m. Club, which you said you've read. So how can you, you're up at 5, and how can you implement it? Because you said at 7 you have to take care of your kids. The best thing I suggest, with great love and respect, the best gift you can give to your family is taking good care of yourself. So if you haven't given yourself that 1 hour to calibrate your mindset, purify your heart set so you'll lock into peace and gratitude and love and joy, if you haven't worked on your health so you have energy and feel strong, and if you haven't worked on your soul set, the 4 interior empires, you will be stressed with your children or frustrated or not bring your magic to your family. So I would really encourage you to take the 5 a.m. Club as an act of self-love. And self-love is the DNA of loving your family. I'm sure you're an amazing, I can tell, you're an amazing mother and family person. I really would encourage you, once you're up at 5, run the formula that I share in the book.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, this gentleman, yes. Dream big, sleep more. No, take the microphone from him.
Hello, Robin. I'm shaking like it was a dream to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
And my question is, in the book at the end, you mentioned like money is the current which should flow, something like that. And a point like you should drink coffee from the greatest hotel in your city. So how practical is this idea? Like how can we all apply this?
Very, very tough audience. The Mumbai stop of the tour is a tough group. So you're talking of, it's a great question. You're talking about Mr. Riley, the billionaire, where he's pulled the letters out in South Africa on the vineyard, right? And there's 11 letters that he shares with his students, and one of them is about prosperity. And I don't think I've ever written about prosperity, but I did that because a lot of people are really struggling with prosperity. And so my friend here correctly said, there's a line in that letter that says, money is a currency, it needs to flow to grow. And so what I suggested is doing things like, at the hotel I'm staying at, I always give big tips. When I'm, money has to flow. You've got, generosity grows prosperity. It's so counterintuitive. If you are taking and hoarding and you give little tips, and even in your business you don't give great value, you want to take more money, you're never going to build prosperity. So you're right, even if you don't have a lot of money, go to a great hotel here in Mumbai and just at least buy a cup of coffee and be around luxury. Be around the vibration of prosperity. Really important. You don't believe me, right?
I'll try that.
Okay. My friends up here who have been, like, I see all of you up there. So, yes, this woman in the black.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Okay. So, Robin, I'm Shalini Sharma, and I belongs to Jaipur.
Okay.
And it's been 2 years in Mumbai. And first of all, I would like to thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The reason behind it, in 2013, I read your book, Who Will Cry When You Die? As you rightly said, your father said, the day you were born, you were crying and everybody was rejoicing. So that one line has changed my life.
Wow.
How? Because I stepped out from my, abruptive marriage. And today I'm a single woman who is living a wonderful life with my beautiful son in Mumbai. So you have changed my life. You have completely changed my life. And you won't believe, I think 25 days back, I saw on the Facebook that you are coming to Mumbai. And I immediately tried to, book the tickets. And it was sold out. And I cried almost for an hour. And yesterday I got the call from the Crossword that you are a lucky winner, you won the tickets. So, and right now I'm shaking. Since 2 years, I'm saving money to attend your Titan Summit. And I will definitely come, maybe in 2020. Titan Summit. I will definitely come. So my question is to you. I want to know that moment when that made you decide that I am not going to be a lawyer anymore.
Well, you know, I mean, first of all, you're so inspirational, and I keep writing books, and I travel as much as I do, and I work as hard as I do, because you all give me a lot of energy and encouragement, like very deeply. And so I want to thank you for sharing that. I would love to suggest that I didn't change your life. You changed your life.
Your motivational words changed it.
Okay. So there wasn't one moment that caused me to leave the law. It was just a general a process. And I just felt a very strong instinct that even though I think I self-published 2,000 or 3,000 copies, so not a lot, but I just felt this instinct that this was what I was supposed to do. And because you're so wonderful, I'll tell you a little story about The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So it was a self-published book, and I gave the books to the bookstore on consignment in Canada. And my son and I, Colby, he was about 4 years old at the time, were in this bookstore, and I was signing the books in the bookstore. They're only like 4, and I was a totally unknown author. And I'm signing the books, and there's a gentleman with his wife watching me sign the book. And he says, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. What an interesting title. And I said, yeah, I said, I'm a lawyer, but this is my labor of love, and I believe, I can get this book out to a lot of people. And he said, really, tell me more. And I said, well, this is the story, and this is this. And he said, oh, it's so fascinating. Hang on for a moment. And he reached into his jacket, and he pulled out his wallet, and he handed me his business card, and it said, Ed Carson, president of HarperCollins.
Wow.
And then, do you want to know, I'll tell you this, do you want to know how much they bought the world rights to The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari for? Yes. $7,500. And that was the beginning of my journey. So it wasn't one event. It was me believing, me serving, me working hard, me improving my craft every single day. And over time, it all unfolded to this. And I'm still no guru. I'm just a very ordinary person. I mean, I always just want to make my work better and help more people. So anyway, I think we have to stop. Is that right? Let's do a few more, because I know there's a lot.
I'll just share with you that factually, Robin has a schedule for tonight with a flight to be caught. That's factual. And if Robin says he's going to stay with us till tomorrow morning 5 o'clock, I'm okay with it. So we'll take the next question.
Where's Sherry?
There, Sherry's behind you.
So what's our timing here? We have to do the book signing. Okay, how about we do 3 really quick questions? Okay. So let's go. This woman who's been
specific, okay, with
really
the question.
Quick.
Yeah, very
Please.
specific with the question. Thank you.
Hi, Robin.
How are you?
I'm very well. I'm just fantastic in your aura.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Genia, and yet again, I'm a fantastic, avid follower of yours. You've changed my life, just like several others. I mean, I'm very emotional, but I'm not going to show that. I'm going to be precise. And I just want to tell you, you have changed her life and many more, the lives of many more people. My parents were my best friends. And, so after my parents, it's you. And because there were moments when I would just cry, because my I lost my parents. And then I would just see your podcasts. And I've also written in the comments that you are my family, like that. And just thank you. That's it. Can't be more precise.
That's
than that.
amazing. Can I have a book, please? Can I have a copy? I want to give you a book for that amazing.
We'll get set with the
that's-
next question, Robin.
That's yes, please. Let's do this. Yes, you. There's so many great people here.
Mike on the left.
I'll sign this one when we do the signing. Thank you for. You're so kind. Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you. I really appreciate this.
May I help you with this?
Wow, I don't want to leave Mumbai. This is everyone's so nice. Okay, yes.
Thank you for being there.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you. I just have a question. Would you ever consider writing a book about your quotes? You write so well. May we have like a Robin's Bible ever?
Daily inspiration. That's sort of my quote book. It's like a calendar book from 365 days. Daily inspirations from the monk who sold his Ferrari. The gentleman in the checkered shirt. We'll go really quickly here and then we'll start the book signing.
Let's have your name on the question.
Ravi Ahuja. The question straight to you, Robin. Thank you for everything. Your world knows you are, your world knows you for your craft. During the journey of life, if you were to lose your mojo or magic, and there could be many reasons, and these reasons come as excuses, I know that, what would you advise does one do to bounce back and get back to your craft to deliver your A game?
I would say use your pain and suffering to serve you. So, sounds like you might be going through something. I've gone through some very difficult times in my life. Society says run from the pain. I encourage you to go into the pain. Let the pain purify you. The great women and men of the world became who they were because of their suffering and their heartbreak and their tragedy. It will teach you relatability, empathy, bravery, nobility, given what you're going through right now. It's not the ego wants to say it's bad. It's actually very good. Okay, last question. I'm going to say this lady right here. Yes. You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, universe, for making this happen. I don't have a question. I want to thank you because you are the little or the big Buddha in everybody's life. So, may I come on stage and make you wear the Buddha that I'm wearing? It's my little gift to you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, why not? Thank you. I'm a very ordinary person, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so Elgin, we're going to go to the book signing. Is that right?
We'll get reorganized on the stage for the book signing with the furniture,
Okay.
and very shortly, Robin will be back. Robin, I must share with you, tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., the Laughter Club will begin with, of course, from this evening as a continuity, because if not tomorrow morning is a 5 a.m. club, this evening it has been certainly a Laughter Club.
And thank you for Crossword and Jaco. Crossword has been amazing to me, so thank you. I'm going to take 1 minute. I guess we're going to line up here or something.
We take a short little break and we'll be back here.
I'll see you all in a few moments. Give yourself a round of applause.